The French government is taking measures to prevent the entry of imams trained in Salafi and Wahhabi centers by applying new regulations. More details on this in the following report.
From the beginning of 2024, the employment of congregation and Friday imams trained abroad and appointed by foreign countries will be prohibited in French mosques and Islamic centers. DW reported on December the 30th. The report states that the French Minister of the Interior, Gerald Derman, has announced the implication of strict regulations regarding the employment of congregation and Friday imams in French mosques in order to prevent what is described as Islamic extremism and the creation of divisions and schemes among Muslims and the French people. Based on the minister's statement, appointment of imams from outside France will be prohibited, and clerics, missionaries, and congregation and Friday imams for Islamic centers and mosques throughout France will be trained in centers under the supervision of the government and universities. According to the French Interior Minister, imams who have been sent to France for religious activities from countries such as Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria must assume a new status from April the 1st, 2024, which means that the source of their income must come from inside, not outside of France. The main goal of the authors of these strict regulations is evidently for imams working in France no longer to be employees of foreign countries and to be not trained in Salafi and Wahhabi centers. Until now, most of the imams and missionaries of French mosques were sent to France from North African countries at the expense of the Saudi Arabian, UAE, Qatari, and Turkey governments. These imams were educated in radical Sunni schools in North Africa, especially in Algeria, Libya, and Egypt, and their salaries were also deposited into their accounts by the countries of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. In the middle of December 2023, the German government also made an agreement with the Turkish government to halt the sending of imams from Turkey to Germany. The growth of Salafi and Wahhabi Islam in the mosques of France and Western European countries is one of the concerns of the members and the states within the European Union. In an attempt to prevent the growth of this extreme view of Islam, European policymakers often impose strictures and restrictions on the general population of Muslims. In response to this, and unaware of the true nature of the extreme Islamic movements, young people tend to be increasingly drawn to Islamic extremism in the suburbs of the big cities.
Vancouver-based Sheikh Mohammed Siros, Shia chaplain in Canada and France, is with us on this topic. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna, how are you?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, how are you doing?
Not bad.
Thank you for inviting me.
No worries. Will the problem of extremism and the growth of Salafi Islam in French mosques be solved by applying new regulations and the ban on imams trained from outside France?
Yes, actually, this topic and this discussion has been going on for over a decade now, since Nicolas Sarkozy in 2012 that he wanted to create French imams. So in order to be able to carry a type of Islam that is compatible with the French system and the French government idea, then it couldn't be done because of the Muslim community in France. We have to know that about 9% of Muslims in French, which is about 7 to 8 million of Muslims, and there is a diversity of the Muslim community. And then Emmanuel Macron in 2020, in January 2020, actually, it's 4 years ago exactly, started actually a program for over 4 years to discuss and to see how he can plan a project of, stopping a certain type of Islam in France. Unfortunately, we have to know that, Wahhabism and Salafism has been going on from the 80s and the 90s in France, and that's the problem of many imams and many preachers who are paid abroad have a certain type of Islam that is especially for targeting Shia and other trend of Islam. We have about 400 different imported imams in France. Half of them are from Turkey, the other almost other half are from Algeria, and 30 from Morocco. We might have some from Egypt and Qatar and some other places, but significantly they are mainly from these countries. And they are mainly, when we said important imams, are not just paid by from Turkey or from Algeria. They are connected to the embassy. So basically, they are importing also the whole political party of that countries, which might be a little bit difficult for the community to be able to learn something which is suitable for the Muslim in France.
And what is the agenda of the government's providing financial and intellectual support for Salafi Islam in the mosques of France and Western Europe?
Yeah, unfortunately, just to add that from the 80s, Salafism came like a fashion, like a wave in France and some part of the world that was considered as a barrier to stop the spread of Shiism and exportation of Shiism from Iran. So that is why that many North African countries and Europe, especially France, they started to finance strongly or close their eyes from the finance from the payment from some countries that making Salafism and Wahhabism and anti-Shia lectures strong in France in order to stop the Shia to spread, because the Shia became something which was strongly active in Europe, and basically French government somehow had the different agenda. Basically, the French government until recently, if they allow to have any money coming from abroad to France, it's mainly a question of politics and money. So unfortunately, how it works is the government of any country come and reinsure France, okay, you know what, we're gonna finance the project of opening this mosque. At the same time, we're gonna finance the soccer team or the football team. But we make sure that there is no political imam or anything which will be inciting violence or hatred in the society. If you allow us, we're just gonna send you many million of dollars or euro, and then this is how the contract is done. But when they bring imams inside the country, we don't know what's going on in the mosque. So the French government, at the same time, they want to protect the value of European. They don't want to have hates and racism and bigotry in the country, especially the imams. Many of them are just targeting Shia and non-Wahhabi, which is problematic for the diversity of Muslim community in France. Secondly, we do have a trend in France of anti-Muslim and Islamophobia. The French election is coming up in a couple years, and everything you can see from the political point of view is just targeting Muslim. So, until recently, they have been, making laws to just scare Muslim, or just to say to the people, okay, we're gonna, make a hard time for the Muslims. So the story of Imam, even though somehow it might be logical from the country, but they're using it against the Muslim, and to make them sure that, saying, okay, you know what, if you want to go to the mosque, the imam that have been trained are the imam that will be compatible fully from our view. So that is the danger, because they might start to speak about family values, to speak about relationship between men and women, about halal and haram, which might be dangerous. We do have, few years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, some imams that have been invited to the media in France, like Hassan Shalgoumi, some other imam, that basically are not representing the Muslim community, and but it's more to as a provocative way to say, okay, the Muslim we do accept have to be this type of Muslims that actually making fun of hijab, making fun of halal and haram and relationship between men and women, and having political view that is 100% our side. So that's the thing. We are a little bit worried. At the same time, we said, okay, the imported imams, it's fine. It might be dangerous because they are connected to the embassy of their own country. So what we don't know what's going on. But at the same time, this might be also forcing the trained imam in France to say certain things which might be against the Islamic value. We do have, many Hausa, Sunni Hausa in France, like Al Ghazali or Chateau Chinon, which are have been, training imams in different fields, but to allow universities and secularism, train the imams. I don't know which direction France want to go, but as far as I can see, as a French person as well, I can see that French doesn't have a good intention for the Muslim community. So I hope that everything will go fine.
Thank you for your time and insight, Sheikh.